Assalamualaikum, my name is Arfa and welcome to a brand new video. This will be part 2 of what we are discussing, which is this book, The Beliefs of the Sufis and Ahlul Sunnah in regards to the pillars of Iman. Okay. And so we left off, we stopped at Tawhid al-Rububiyyah, meaning the Tawhid in the Lordship of Allah SWT, which the Sufis have shared with their Imams, their Shuyukh, even their friends or whatever, those whom they regard as high in status. Okay. And so here we continue another point of contradiction from the false beliefs of some of the Sufis in relation to Tawhid al-Rububiyyah is that they believe that some of their awliya have knowledge of the unseen. What is their condition if Allah said to His Messenger, say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the Quran now, I possess no power over benefit or harm to myself except as Allah wills. If I had the knowledge of the ghaib, the unseen, I should have secured for myself an abundance of wealth, and no evil should have touched me. I am but a warner and a bringer of glad tidings unto people who believe. Surah Al-A'raf, chapter 7, ayah number 188. And Allah, the Glorified, said, say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I do not tell you that with me are the treasures of Allah, nor that I know the unseen. Okay. Al-An'am, chapter 6, verse 50. No, the knowledge of the unseen is right, that can only be given to the Lord of the creation, meaning only Allah has knowledge of the unseen. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, and with Him are the keys of the ghaib, in referring to Himself here. None knows but He. Okay, Allah is referring to Himself here in Surah Al-An'am 650, chapter 6, verse number 59 actually. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, say, the unseen belongs to Allah alone. Surah Yunus, chapter 10, verse 20. Again, Allah says, and to Allah belong the ghaib, the unseen, of the heavens and the earth. In Surah Al-Hud, chapter number 11, verse number 123. Another proof text here. Say, none in the heavens and the earth knows the ghaib except Allah, the unseen. No one knows in the heavens and the earth. Between the heavens and the earth and whatsoever in between, right? No one knows the unseen apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, from Surah An-Naml this time. Chapter 27, ayah number 65. As a matter of fact, some of them even believe that these awliya are able to decree and even make some changes to what has been written in the Law al-Mahfuz, the book of records with Allah. What destruction is greater in light of the statement of Allah than the false beliefs of this group? No calamity befalls on the earth. This is the Quran now. No calamity befalls on the earth or in yourself, but it is inscribed in the book of decrees, Al-Lawh al-Mahfuz, before we bring it into existence. Verily, that is easy for Allah, in order that you may not grieve at the things that you fail to get, nor rejoice over that which has been given to you. And Allah likes not prideful boasters. And this is Surah Al-Hadid, chapter 57, ayah number 22 to 23. It is also narrated in Sahih Muslim, number 2653, hadith number 2653, 2653, that the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah the Most High pre-decreed what will happen 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth, and His throne was above water. It is also narrated in the Sunan, and this is reported by Abu Dawud, which is hadith number 4078, and reported also by Tirmidhi, hadith number 2155. Okay, and it has been classed as Sahih, authentic, by Sheikh Al-Albani. And again, it is also narrated in the Sunan, with an acceptable chain of transmission, and the isnad is jayyid, that he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said the first thing Allah the Most High created was the pen, and He commanded it write. So the pen asked, "My Lord, what should I write?" He replied, Allah SWT replied, "Write everything that is due to occur until Yawmul Qiyamah, okay, until the day of resurrection, or the day of recompense." The point being that all benefit and harm can only come from Allah alone. The Most High said, this is Allah SWT saying here in the Quran, "And if Allah touches you with harm, there is none who can remove it but He. And if He intends any good for you, there is none who can repel His favor, which He causes it to reach whomsoever of His slaves He wills. And He is the oft-forgiving, the most merciful." Surah Yunus, chapter 10, ayah number 107. It was also narrated by At-Tirmidhi with a Sahih Isnad. This is reported by At-Tirmidhi, hadith number 2516, and class as Sahih by Tirmidhi himself and Sheikh Albani, that the Prophet ﷺ said, "No, if the Ummah gathered together to benefit you with anything, then they will not be able to benefit you with anything except with what Allah has written for you. And if they had gathered together to harm you with anything, then they will not be able to harm you with anything except what Allah has written for you. The pens have been lifted and the pages have dried." Yeah, so this is very profound. Every single thing that are bound to happen to you as long as you are still alive, while you are still alive, has already been decreed. Okay? The word here used is decreed, not known to Allah SWT, because Allah is the all-knowing. Right? So He is the one who decree all these things to happen to you. And if we take a step back, for example, people here today question the decree of Allah SWT when they are in hardship, right? When they are met with calamity, when there's a death in the family, when there's a damage to their property, when they lose their property, right? They lose their organs, for example, and so they question Allah SWT. For example, there's someone who never misses his salah, never misses his salah in congregation, and he was always learned, and he never missed his deen responsibility of the deen, for example, providing charity, nafka to his wife, so on and so forth. Right? He never misses any of this. But one of his organs was taken away from him, or something else happened to him, right? And so how should his reaction be? Right? There are two ways that he can react. One is questioning the decree of Allah SWT, like majority of us do. Whenever something happens to us, we always question the decree of Allah, without realizing that the pens have been lifted and the pages have dried. Allah SWT decreed this upon us for a reason, right? And it could be that we have spent so long not in the path of Allah SWT. We have deviated way too far. And it's time that Allah SWT bring us back to the straight path, due to His mercy, with His mercy. The fact that Allah SWT, with His mercy, decided to bring us back to the path. At this point of time, He decided, because He's decreed this way 50,000 years before the creation of the dunya, shows that He still has ample mercy for us. And this is something that we should be grateful. And so He might remove us from our current prestigious job. He might remove us from our mates. Right? He might remove us from our spouse, because He wants the best for us. And it could be, in the Quran, this is in the Quran, that we want something, but that something is not good for us. Right? And Allah gave us something, right, which we feel that we don't want, but it is actually the best for us. Right? For example, separation between husband and wife. The wife was leading, or the husband was leading away from the deen, and Allah removed the husband or the wife from those that are causing harm to the deen, to the religion of the other person. And it could be that the separation was a very, very painful thing to go through. But the larger picture is that this person has been saved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His afterlife is secured. So which is better for you? Right? And so a lot of us fail to see the bigger picture. A lot of us fail to realize that everything shall perish except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And so we continue here. From the greatest and most severe mistakes, the Sufis in regards to Allah's Lordship, Tawheed Ar-Rububiyyah, is the belief of Wahdatul Wujud. Okay, we can translate this as pantheism, or we can also translate in a concept which basically means God is everywhere. Everything is, God exists everywhere, right? And God is in everywhere, right? This is pantheism. Wahdatul Wujud is belief that nothing exists except Allah, meaning there is nothing besides Allah that exists in the universe. And as a result, everything within the creation is a personification of Allah Azza wa Jal. In other words, everything within the created universe is physically Allah, the Lord of the creation. Okay. And so this has some roots in Christianity, because this, if you are familiar with the Gospel of John, okay, God came down to earth, right? And this also has some similarity in the Hindu beliefs. And historically, the Sufis are much closer to the Hindu beliefs. I'm talking about more Sufis nowadays. Okay, not the Sufis of Imam al-Ghazali, the Sufis of during the time of the Sahaba. Those are really, really spiritual person, and they are really close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we are talking about the Sufis that are here today, that engage in shirky practices and engage in a lot of bid'ah, innovation in the religion. And the belief that Allah is in Allah manifested himself in creation is Hinduism. Okay. Here, the author here is saying, I do not believe that anyone with any intellect could actually believe in something like this. Okay. It is an idea which is disbelief in Islam, kufr. An idea which necessitates that the kuffar and the filthiest of creation are an actual image of Allah the Most High. This is the conclusion to their beliefs, because they believe that Allah is present unrestrictedly, being everywhere. One example that we can use actually is that if we believe that Allah manifested himself in creation, then basically we can say, Allah is a tadpole, for example, na'uzubillah, right? Or Allah is this printer here, again. So that is the idea, that perhaps if we use this sort of example, maybe it will get our interlocutor to think, or to get the Sufis or anyone who engages in these sort of beliefs to actually ponder upon their faith, and which is more rational, right? And also this goes against the ayah of the Quran. This goes against the very teachings of the Quran. If you believe that Allah is everywhere and God manifested himself in this earth, be it animate and inanimate object, living things or non-living organism, basically you have committed shirk, because that is the very thing that Islam came to abolish. And again, here I say in response, reading here, there cannot possibly be a person who has even the slightest bit of intellect that would actually believe in this nowadays. Okay? There cannot exist a person that extols the Sharia and believes in what is written in the books of the modern day Sufis. I have had several debates with some of them, especially concentrating on this idea, Wahdatul Wujud. It is sufficient to disprove this false idea by stating that those who believe in it are actually believing in what Fir'aun said, where he said, I am your Lord Most High. Okay, he said this in Surah An-Naziyat, chapter 79, ayah number 24. If one has these beliefs, then it necessitates that they do not declare those who say Isa ibn Maryam is God as being disbelievers. Okay, meaning those who have this belief of Wahdatul Wujud, they cannot declare that the Christians have actually committed shirk by believing that Jesus, the son of Mary, is Allah. And this is found in the Quran as well. Okay. Now, obviously, the Christians, the Trinitarian Christians today, they have a play of words, and that they say that Jesus is actually not Allah, okay, because Jesus, the Son, Allah is the Father in their theology. Okay. Because according to them, the doctrine of the Trinity is three persons, one being, three in one, but they are not three gods; they are one God. So there's a play in the words here, right? But nevertheless, if we talk sense, then we can see from the very picture itself that the Christians have taken Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus, the Messiah, as God, as Allah. And ayah of the Quran here from Surah Al-Maidah, chapter 5, verse 73, reads, Surely, these believers are those who said, Allah is the third of the three in a Trinity. Okay. So, لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثًا. Yeah. Secondly, here we actually go to the next point already here. Okay. And this is Tawheed of worship. Tawheed al-Uluhiyah. Alright. So, we will continue Tawheed al-Uluhiyah in the next video. My name is Arfat, and I'll see you next time, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.